Hello. Hello, Jesus, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I'll try to refresh. Hello, can you hear me now? Nothing, huh? Let me try logging in over here. Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay. The problem is definitely on your side. I'm waiting to enter, not enter the call yet. I see you in the call. Try refreshing. All right, well, trying to start this interview and go through the interview process, setting up, getting all of the audio working, right? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. Cool. All right, so we are making some progress. So the goal here is to, I'm sharing my screen so you can see my screen, but the goal here is to basically get the process set up for the kind of like our entire stage 3 recruitment interview profile, right? So,
Okay.
we'll go over the details, make sure all your questions are answered, and then we'll do the whole interview, which is going to be a written interview based on our new model and changing things. One of the things I wanted to get started was the recording. Ideally, you will have like a link to record. It's pretty easy to record. You can just go into Jitsi. You can say start recording. So this is one way you can record, and then that will just
Recording is on.
Oh, I have to record the interview?
well, we record everything. Everything's publicly accountable and transparent in the entire
Okay,
organization.
but I have to do it too?
No, you don't. We just had to just
Oh.
somebody during the session will always record, right? So I'm recording, but I'm just showing you how to record. It's very easy to record, right?
Oh, okay.
Because we're also recording this for other workers too. And I was saying before, that no one's required to do the actual video, because sometimes that can stall things. But it's just good to know how to do everything in case it's necessary, right? So you can also do a live stream, and we want to give people the stream keys, and then you can log with Google and stuff and do a live stream key, and then you can have one of our recording methods. So that's another option to doing recordings there. And then we'll also add a third recording option, which is the 3 recording options. So there'll be just a direct record on Jitsi. There's going to be the interview live stream key, which we'll give you guys. And then also you'll have the option to do a voice over IP um, you know, phone recording. So we'll put those two recordings. So then from there, the hyper check-in, like this is a buddy team. So in buddy teams, we don't do like full check-ins. We just do hyper check-ins. So you just give yourself a number. So you just write your name in the notes, like on line 15, 16, you just put yourself a number between 1 and 9 for how you're feeling.
Oh, from 1 to 9.
Yeah. And you can just write that
Like
down.
I don't know, like a 7.
Yeah. So if you're able to go to the notes and then write it down on line 16,
Oh, I think I need access to the
document. Okay, good.
to
Yeah.
the
So
document.
that's
Yes.
another part of the training where we have to make sure people know that when they create the duplicate of the document. So when you're going into your the template, so you have stage 2, you're getting it set up, and you're creating the notes. You're gonna link on the template of the notes, and you create the template by making a copy, and then
Okay.
like you're saying, you're gonna make sure you share it so that it's shared with everybody with an editor as a link. Okay. So now you should be able to refresh and edit the notes that I made.
Let me see. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
Great. So you can go in line 15 or 16, and then you just do your hyper check-in. During buddy teams, we always do hyper check-ins, which are very fast. And at main sessions, which happen like once a week, we'll do like a full check-in where we do,
Okay.
you know, verbal, detailed check-ins. So are you able to do that? The hyper check-in?
Oh, I had. Okay. Let me do it.
Cool.
It's well, 2.6 is kind of low.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm not in good shape, man. I'm just overwhelmed. Like the whole organization is like a disaster. Hopefully, one day I'll be doing better because everything will be more functional. So, as far as the uh, the interview itself, it's we basically just jump right into like after the hyper check-in, we got the recording going, you know, and then we just go right into the interview questions, right? But before we go into the
Okay.
interview questions, maybe we do one quick, just like you know, overall, you know, questions. So you know, this would be the time to like ask any question, you know, check in with the team member. So I would be the team member that you're checking in with. And so this is again as part of our new model for our recruitment. Because in the past, we've always done full interviews with each worker in verbally with
Oh,
the entire team usually, which takes an amazing amount of time and it is really prevents the work from moving forward. So part of our goal is separating out the recruitment process and the legal process and the terms and everything from the actual work, so that we're not taking away the time for the workers to meet their responsibilities and get their full pay and everything, right? So um, that's just kind of gives a little background of why we're kind of starting this new model. So the first question would just be like, you know,
okay.
any questions that you have. This is your chance to just quickly check in. Yeah,
Well, how many are we in the team?
cool. So the organization itself is the SFC Co-op, and the co-op itself has two teams. So there's the SFC team, and then we have the work continuity team. So we're the work continuity team, and we just have myself and Miguel. And then if you get hired, you would be the third one. We had
Oh,
two people who um, were involved, but then they stopped being involved because there was miscommunication, all the problems. We were trying to fix our recruitment model so that everything's very clear from the beginning and how everything works. You have Lucy,
yeah.
who's been around for many, many years. There's Mamoon, who's been around for many, many years. So Lucy and Mamoon are in the SFC team, and they're Old World, and it's a little different. Me and Miguel are both New World. So as far as New World goes, you are the only other person even remotely from New World, right? We
Oh yeah.
have another like
You are from where?
I'm in California.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm in New World in the United States. So, in terms of the other recruits, right? We have at least another 5, if not 10, other potential recruits. We'll probably end up hiring 2 or 3 additional people for Old World, and they hopefully will get involved in
Oh,
New
so
World.
like
What?
they're in the recruiting process like me?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you're the
That's
only
great.
person from New World currently who is in the recruitment process. And you're the only person
There's like a
in
lot of
months that we've
pressure.
found from New World. Like it's just we just have a really hard time finding people from New World. Partly it's just a lot more expensive, and partly because um, there's just literally 10 times more people in the Old World, and we do global outreach.
Yeah.
So yeah, so overall there's probably somewhere between 5 to 10 people. We also have the HR board. So the HR board makes all final approvals and decisions regarding the budget, right, and the pay and any issues that happen, and that is currently 2 people. So there is Benson and Abu Bakar. So they're the HR board right now. And we also have a board of directors which has an additional 5 or 10 people, and we pretty much have dozens and dozens of people who are past owners who are not actively involved, but they would be the membership and the owners. But as far as active people who are involved on a day-to-day basis, there's very few of us. Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course we have lots of past problems that we're trying to deal with and all the other issues, but I won't get into all of that. So any other questions?
Well, in the work it says a lot about working with clients. What are we gonna what are we going to do exactly?
Yeah.
That's I got confused there.
Cool. So there's 2 types of client work. There is client work that pays the payroll, right? So to get money, right? And then there's client work
Yes.
um, that is what we call revenue generation, which expands the budget. So when we do internal client work, so this would be internal client work income, is basically easy work to make money within our existing network, right? So we have, we're not an organization, right? We are a network of many, many organizations, with our organization
Okay.
being the worker co-op, right? So we have created this organization as the worker co-op that takes on clients of other organizations within the network. And some of the work that we do is called sponsorship program support. So we take on
Mhm.
administrative support for anyone who wants to start a social program. So that's one of our main public services that we do, is we'll do sponsorship and we'll help people start nonprofits. We'll help people start, social organizations, movement organizing, whatever we can do to help improve the world. So think about it like our goal is
Okay.
making the world a better place, but we don't actually work on anything.
That's great.
All we do is we
Okay.
support programs that are working on things. And we'll support any
Okay.
program.
How is the network called?
Well, we're the SFC co-op, and that's this
Okay.
social freelance community, right? Is our name. And then the old organization that fell apart in first half of the year, right? We're just trying to get restarted. That was the FQN Community Contributors Co-op, right? So it's the FQN Community Network Contributors Co-op, and this is the organization that fell apart. It still exists, but it's just gridlocked, and we're dealing with all the problems and issues there. So within a co-op, you have a
Yeah.
lot of power. So if people want to destroy and stop things, because we run on consensus, it's possible to do that if you get majority, right? And then the
Yeah.
overall network is called the frequency quantified vortex, and this is FQV
What?
vortex.
Oh,
So this is like the overall network. So there's FQN, which is the frequency quantified network, and then the frequency quantified vortex is the overall everything. So within this, there are probably 10 to 15 organizations and legal entities and other branches, right? So we do a lot of taxes. So getting back to some of the specific work that we do the sponsorship program report, we do lots of taxes, we do government compliance, we do finances, bills, right? Asset management, finances, bills, asset management. And then we also do tokens and crypto.
You do a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for sure. There's no way I could do this by myself. We need to find people who are interested in collaborating and working on this. I mean, this is a multi-decade well, really it's a multi-generation project of how do we make the world a better place for future generations, because the direction we're going right now is trillions of animals being slaughtered and killed and destroyed because we're just destroying the environment, and billions of people dying when the economy collapses. Like right now the economy is based on the US dollar, derivative US dollar around the world, and it's just like being held up through war and through just like fake money. I mean, there's printing and printing and printing, and so it's just like it's a matter of time before the economy collapses, and billions of people are going to die. So it's like we either need to get in gear and actually start making the world a better place for future generations instead of just allowing it to be destroyed. And it's like almost impossible to find people who care, who actually want to do something about it without getting paid tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, or they just are too busy because they can't even meet their own needs. So it's just very hard to find people who are even interested. I mean, we don't know what the solutions are, period. Right? So a lot of what we do, I don't even know how to do it. You know what I mean? We're just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the key thing here is that...
How many years you've been here?
I mean, I'm the founder right here. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Because, like, and it's been... I mean, in some contexts, things have been somewhat successful. I mean, we have some money, but it's difficult to get enough money for the payment, which is where the revenue generation comes in. So the only way to be successful for me, I mean, I live in California. If I'm not getting paid at least like $5,000 per month, it's like I can't live, right? So it's so expensive to pay me that I can't even pay myself, right? It's just insane. So in the context of revenue generation, this is the most important work because this actually expands the budget to get paid more money, right? To work more hours and get paid more money. Right? Because this is the most important. So there's a lot of things, including client sales, right, and outreach. There's fundraising. There's the token profiles that we're doing a lot right now to get all of our tokens organized for all of our ownership. Because if we can make the tokens worth money, then we can our tokens will have value already, right? And most tokens are just like these, ridiculous meme tokens that just have cute pictures. We're trying to actually create like valuable real tokens that slowly go up over time based on real actual life work, right? So we're trying to create real tokens and real crypto as opposed to just meme tokens that are just a big huge flash and make a bunch of money quick and then it all falls apart, right? So from there we're building grants, right? So we have grant writing. And then we have investor relations to bring in other funds. So those are the main goals for our revenue generation. But the most important thing for all of it is multimedia and getting involved in the social media. So multimedia, website updates, storytelling, everything. Everything
visibility and stuff.
Visibility, yes. No one knows we exist. There's nothing, right? So that's sort of like the most important. So the two most important things that we're doing right now is multimedia, visibility, getting our posting and storytelling organized and set up, and then we're also doing we're doing the token profiles. So every single post will have a link to our tokens, so that people can get involved with what we're doing and get involved with our finance and our value and all that kind of stuff. So that's sort of an overview of more or less the main goals of what we do. But it's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
And right now there's very
Oh,
little
where will we
happening because we're just
be
not functioning.
communicating via
Communications.
Upwork?
So for no, we communicate as a team, and Upwork is not really meant for teams, right? It's just for individual communications.
Yeah.
So the most important thing to understand is that under our policies, everyone's required to do what's called publicly searchable communications. So the easiest model of publicly searchable communications is like a Google email group. So everyone will have links to our Google email groups.
Oh,
And then from there, we do
okay.
our website
That's great.
communications. So on our website communications, we have chat that we're building. We built an entire website for communications for our old organization, and now we need to duplicate it for the new one. But we'll get to that. So we'll be chat, posting like a WordPress. I don't know if you have experience with WordPress. We also do.
Oh, the website is on now?
Well, our website is not really. It needs work, right? Because it's brand new, right? We have the old
Yeah.
website that is functional. So we're gonna be. So then from there, there's Facebook. Facebook works. Twitter or X, and then you have um, LinkedIn. So there's lots of options for communicating in a publicly searchable method, right? There's probably like 10 different options that we can use. But we also use Discord for internal communications, but these are not
Oh,
publicly
yeah.
searchable. Okay? So anytime we
Okay. Yeah, that's
communicate
great.
in a way
I
that's,
use Discord.
yeah, we use Discord all the time. The only issue is that it's just not publicly searchable, right? So
Yeah.
we communicate on Discord a lot, and then to get 100% pay, because you're required to have all communications on publicly searchable platforms, right? So if you're doing Discord, then you simply need to copy and paste Discord messages into, for example, the email group or the website
Oh,
or Facebook. So that only takes a few minutes. But if you're just
yeah.
behind and you're just doing lots of communication on Discord, you just copy it and you paste it so that you're meeting policy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
understand.
overall, we can communicate however we want to, but the policy and to get full pay, you have to do publicly searchable communications. And this is for the work continuity group. So as I mentioned, there's two teams. So we have required public 100% required 100% publicly searchable communications, and we do 1.5 hours per day, right? And the
Yeah.
SFC team basically is 24 hours, no requirement for communications, and they do just the 1.5 hours per week per assigned work priority, right? That we also do. So the work continuity team is much more strict than the SFC team, but it's a good starting point because it gives a lot of good structure for people. Because the SFC team is just not organized at all, and they don't actually accomplish anything. So we need better structure, and
Okay.
I'm actually building what I call the Unity team, and the Unity team there'll be no upfront pay until all the work is completed. So the direction that I'm going, it's either the work gets completed if you want to get paid, or that's it. With the work continuity team, you can get paid for not completing work, right? So even if you don't complete the work,
Oh,
you can
yeah, I didn't
still get paid.
understand that when I read it.
Yeah. So you can still get paid even for not completing the work, but you still have to do the client work and you have to be moving the work forward to get the pay, right? But with the Unity team,
Oh,
there's no pay at all until the work is completed. And then it's good to note with all teams, if you complete work, you automatically can get bonuses and pay even if you're not in the budget. So when you complete work, that's a whole nother level, right? If you're completing work, you get
what? You
paid
passed the game.
regardless, right? Does that make sense? So the only issue,
Okay. Yeah.
the
Yes.
purpose of the budget, the purpose of the pops, the purpose of your, the interviews and all these things is to make it clear that you have to do the work in order to get paid if you're not willing to complete the work. Because it's very difficult to
Yeah, of
complete
course.
work. Completing work is difficult. Having deliverables, actually following through with the work, most people have no interest in that because it actually takes work, right?
Yeah.
So if you're willing to actually follow through and complete the work, you can get paid as much money as you want. There's no limit because you can get bonus after bonus after bonus after bonus. So when we talk about your base pay being $300 a month, that's just for not completing work. You can always make more money if
Oh,
you complete the work. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cool. All
I
right.
mean, I'm not willing to not work.
Yes, that I'm kind of like that too. But a lot of people are just like they just want the money, you know.
Well,
And
yeah,
it gets
there's a lot of
complicated.
people like that.
Yeah, it gets complicated. And anyways, we our policies are working pretty well. Like we're able to sort of filter through some people, and we're trying our best to build a new team. But it's hard. It's hard. And we've never really come back since the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, after the pandemic, everything completely fell apart, and it's just been a trying to get it restarted, and it's just really been hard. So here we are. We're doing our best. Maybe this will be the time. Who knows? But any other questions
Well,
before
we
we
hope.
get into the interview?
Not really. No,
So
that's
before I
it.
forget, there's another thing that I already forgot, but what are you gonna do?
And
So
the break time to start. Please get focused on the session.
so we have something called the rhythm. We'll try to add the link in here later, and every single 3 minutes we kind of
Rhythm.
take a quick pause, right? So the rhythm, and at the bottom of the hour we always do a break. So we're gonna take a 3 minute break right now, and then we'll come back, see if there's any other questions, and then if there's no more questions, then we'll go into the interview. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So the bottom of the hour we take a break. At the top of the hour we take a break. At the 15-minute marks we do a little stretch. So
Mm,
that's our rhythm. So let's take a quick 3 minute break, or 2.5 minutes now, and then we'll go from there. All right.
okay. I'll see you.
Cool. Quick break. Okay. loop this. Loop.
End
It's
of
4
break.
o'clock.
Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
All right, cool. So, any other questions before we get started on the written interview?
No, not really.
Okay, cool. So, let's go to the first part. So, the first part is the communications. And it's good to know that, you
I
know,
have to write.
yes. So in our new model, all of the questions are written answers, and then we do have the form, and the form is where we score your answers. So everybody will write their answers, and then as a team, we'll be able to look at your answers, and then we're going to be scoring you based on your answers, and this is for the budget ranking. So if we have too many people, they don't fit in the budget, the rankings will determine who gets hired and who doesn't get hired, right? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So, and just so you know, the rankings are determined based on rankings are 50% skill and evaluation, and 50% pay rate. Right. So it's very fair. We just like if you want to get paid more money, you need to have more skill. If you're willing to have less money, then you can have less skill, right? So it balances out. All right. So the first 3 questions are about language, and they're slightly different. The first one is basically, can you communicate in English at all? The second one is kind of like, are you fluent? And the third one is, well, it's not really fluency. It's more of like, are you quick? And then the third one is professionality, because you can be fluent and fast, but you might not be professional. So the first question is, can you communicate in English language? Right? Do you have a basic proficiency in English, etc., etc.? So does that question make sense?
Yes. Shall I speak my answer aloud or just write it?
No, you're just going to write it. So we'll just have silence for you to write the answer, and this will be the same for anyone else going through this video or going through the interview questions. Like if there's multiple people, they'll check in and there's a spot for each person to answer the question. Okay?
Okay. How about my full name?
No, just your first name's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and overall, people can use an alias if they don't want to use their actual name. It's that's also an option. But yeah, usually we just operate everything by just first name, and then in your tax forms you'll put your personal details and everything, but you don't need to do that on a daily basis.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Oh, it's kind of long.
That's fine, no worries. Yeah, we could just go like that so that it's all viewable. All right, so you good on that one? Ready for the next one? Okay, so the next one is, can you speak English with efficiency and quickness? So basically, you're able to speak fast and get through the words, in a quicker way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, cool. Totally.
All right, you good?
Oh, yeah, just thinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No need to do like super details and everything, but you're good.
Oh,
Well, especially with this kind of question, because it's like. But overall, it's just good for people to write whatever they feel they're comfortable with. Just let me know when you're done.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, relax.
I'm done.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and wait. Yeah, words.
All right. So the next question is professional language interaction. So again, some people they may be perfectly fluent and speak very quickly, but they're just not professional. So, and sometimes it can go the other way around. You might have terrible English, but you're still very, very professional, right? So that's
Oh,
the
I
next
hope
question.
not.
Does that make sense? The question?
Yeah, I can respond it for you. There you go.
Great. Okay. So that brings us
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
That brings us to the next question is, do you have
Is that an exercise?
That's just closing the eyes. Every 3 minutes to do a pause. So,
Oh,
the next question is, do you have excellent internet and or audio connection with stable electricity and with stable electricity? I guess you don't need audio twice here. So
yeah.
basically, does your internet work all the time? A lot of people, their internet goes
Yeah.
off and on. Sometimes they have trouble with electricity. I mean, some people don't even have internet at all. We can't work with them at all. But does that make sense? Does the question make sense?
Yeah, I can answer that really fast.
Great. Yeah, no hurries.
That's it.
Great. Okay. So then the next question here is access to a computer. Some people just do on their phones. We actually allow people to work on the phone, but it's considered 50% value in relationship to your ownership and your equity. It doesn't
It's
affect
kind
your
of
base pay, but yeah.
yeah.
Time to stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
Oh, now we're doing our stretch. So we're just gonna go and stretch for just a few minutes stretch. Or a few seconds is what I meant. All right, just let me know when you're done with that question.
I'm done. Oh, it's already.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh,
So that brings us to the contribution questions. So we're done with the communication questions.
isn't one left?
Oh, you're right. There's one more. Okay. It's always good to make sure we got all the questions. So, do you show up on time? Or are you reliably present at scheduled sessions? As long as you cancel in advance, it's perfectly fine. It's not against policy. So, under our policies, you either show up on time or you just cancel in advance. Do you understand the question? Like it's just a matter of people punctual showing
Yeah.
up. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Yeah. There you go. Sorry.
Great. Okay. So great. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the contribution questions. So the first contribution question is just link on the next tab. This is section 2.
Okay.
There's only 3 sections total. It's pretty quick. Do you follow through with work until it is completed for final output or deliverable? So as I was saying earlier, it's very difficult to complete deliverables and actually finish work. Some of the things that we work on can take many weeks, if not months. to actually complete them, especially if we're only working on it for an hour and a half, a week or something, right? So, so in the context of this, most people obviously don't follow through on their work, but it's just good to kind of have an idea of like where you are, with actually following through on the work and doing deliverables. So do you understand the question?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I can.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
There you go. I finished it.
Great. All right. So then we go to oversight and training. So this is a tough one where basically do you like to get work done with minimal oversight and training, as opposed to some people like to have lots and lots and lots of training and know exactly how to complete something before they start doing the work, right? So another way to think about it is like,
have to do before doing it.
Yeah. It's like another way to think about it is like, are you willing to make lots of mistakes, right? So the less training you have, the more mistakes you're going to make, right? Some of the things that we're working on, we just don't even know how to do. I don't even know how to do it, right? So it's like we're trying to solve problems and figure solutions out that maybe we don't know yet. So sometimes they're just, and most of the time we just don't have time to do detailed training, and we need people to start doing the work without necessarily having detailed training. And it's okay to make mistakes. You get paid to make mistakes. You do not get paid to do nothing, right? Does that make sense? So most people will sit around and just watch other people do work because they want to, and a lot of people will train them for dozens of hours, literally 10, 20, 30 hours, and they still never feel comfortable doing the work, and they just want more training because some people just never learn how to do it,
Yeah.
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
There you go. We got it.
Great. All right. So now we are on the budget question. So this is do you plan on working more hours than you're budgeted? So nobody's expected to work more hours than they're budgeted, but some people, they are not here for money. They're here to try to make the world a better place, so they're willing to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, even though we can only pay for 30 hours or 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week. So
Okay.
Obviously nobody is expected or required to do that, and it needs to be done in terms of your ownership, because as an owner, this is your ownership and you're getting equity value for all contributions to the co-op. So this is mainly just to know. Most people, the expectation is that they just want to work their hours that they're budgeted for, and this is sometimes where we have confusion. It's like everybody within work continuity group is budgeted for 1.5 hours per octant, right? So 1.5 hours per day. So that is all that the expectation and is budgeted for pay, right? Does that make sense? So that works out to, if you're doing 6 days a week, it works out to 9 hours a week. Okay, so it's 9 hours. So the question is basically, are you considering working more than 9 hours or not? Some people are budgeted 9 hours and they only work 3 hours a week. Some people are budgeted 30 hours and they only work 10 hours a week. So it just a lot of people work less hours than they're actually budgeted as well. So it goes both directions. We just want to kind of have an idea of where people are at so that we can gauge commitment levels. Yeah. That make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Time to take a break. Please stop, write down whatever you were about to say, and take a break for 6 minutes.
All right, so we are at our break time again.
Oh. 2 minutes again?
Yeah, I mean, you can keep writing if you want to, it's fine. But I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, and I'll be back in a minute, and then we can go on with the other questions. And you're welcome to keep reading other questions too, but I'll just go through them with you, okay?
Good. See you in a minute. Yeah.
I'm back.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh.
All right, so you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm ready.
All right, so the next one is about policies. Do you like to follow policies, or do you prefer to move forward quickly without learning and following policies? So, following policies is always more difficult. We have lots and lots of policies. We rarely follow most of them. It can be kind of like pulling teeth to get people to follow the policies. So, overall, most people don't really like to follow policies. Most people like to move things forward quickly. So it's kind of like a give and take on it. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but do you understand the question? It's basically like, do you prefer to slow down and follow the policies, learn the policies? Under our model, we're allowed to break policies. But ideally we do it on purpose, right? So when we break policy, it's like, okay, we're breaking this policy on purpose because it serves us better to not follow the policy. If a policy doesn't serve us at all, we want to get rid of it and we want to change the policies. So we control all of our own policies.
Time to start.
Do you follow the
on the
policies?
session.
Sorry, say again?
Do you follow all the policies?
I mean, it's impossible for me to follow the policies by myself, right? Because the policies are there to hold our team together and to function as an organization, right? So, for example, just something as simple as having the rhythm on and taking a break at the bottom of the hour. If you keep talking, it's hard for me to just leave, and because you're in the middle of a conversation. So unless
Yeah,
both people agree to follow the policy together, it's very difficult to follow it, right? So I can do my best to remind people to follow the policies, but if they don't listen, they don't do it, then there's not much you can do about it, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great. Okay. The next one's a really cool question. So this is about your passions and interests with your life. So
That's great.
Our mission as a network, our primary goals is uniting all people in social movements for total societal transformation at every level. So it's kind of like butterfly into the caterpillar, and we're working on building new economic, decision-making, and educational infrastructures to improve the life experience on our planet, right? So we're slowly, creating new models for our society to function less corruptly, less with greed and more with a balance with nature and the universe, right? So the question is, what are your interests? And then we can start thinking about how those align with the organization's interests, with our sponsorship programs and everything. So that's more or less the question, and it's fine to not have alignment with the missions of the organization.
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Like I remembered that time. So if you if you're interests and passions in your life don't align with the network and mission, that's fine as long as you're willing to do the work and support the work of the organization, right? But it's just
Yeah,
good
of
to
course.
know and have understanding, especially people who do have interest in alignment. We would want to know that. But yeah. Check.
Yeah.
Do you understand the
Okay,
question?
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, so now we are on the next question. Oh, that's it. Actually, for
Skills.
contributions are done. Cool.
Then
So
we go to skills.
yes, we're going to skills. So there's only a few questions left. So this one has a question about scheduling. So global team scheduling with many time zones. Like, do you have any experience with that? It can be a huge hassle to schedule. And that's part of why we do the 1.5 hours per day, and we have the octants. Then octant is just we take the 24-hour day schedule, and we, have 3 hours per octant, and then that's our schedule. So it helps us keep everything organized. For example, this octant that we started at today is called Cobalt. So it's like the Pacific, this would be the Eastern Pacific.
Yeah, I think here is late, kind of later
For sure.
than there.
Sweet. So, you understand the question?
Yeah, I can.
Great.
Got it.
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Oh, you good on this one, or?
Yeah.
You're done? Did we not get this one?
Yeah, this didn't.
There.
Yeah, there you go. So,
All right, so the next question is experience with real-time virtual assistant work. So, in taking on real-time virtual assistant shifts and VA sessions, which are virtual assistant sessions. So, do you have experience with executive assistants, any sort of real-time virtual assistant work?
oh,
Does that make sense as far as
yeah.
one of our primary roles as in terms of a question? Do you get it, the question?
Yeah, I got it.
You understand the question? Okay, good.
There you go.
Cool. All right. Not to worry too much about the formatting. So from here, I think there's only three more questions.
Time to stretch. Please stop.
Quick stretch.
Stand up and stretch and move around for 30
No problem.
seconds.
Okay. So the next question is, do you have experience with real-time session positions, including facilitation, note-taking, timekeeping, basically running meetings? Do you have experience running meetings for an organization, decision-making, group decision-making, all that? Does that make sense as far as the question goes?
Oh, yes, I got it.
Cool.
Here you go.
All right, awesome. Okay, so now we are getting into the last, I think, 2 questions here. So this one's, are you a master of Google Drive, Google Documents, financial formulas? So we do a lot of finances and accounting and
Yes.
calculations. We do formulas, including with our payroll and everything. So we use a lot of Google spreadsheets. So the question is, do you understand Google Drive and have experience with all that? Okay,
Yes, absolutely.
cool.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I got it.
Awesome. Okay. So then that leaves us the last question, which is, do you work quickly and do you juggle multiple responsibilities quickly? So this would be multitasking. Are you good at multitasking, or do you prefer to like work on one thing and just kind of do slowly and all that? So do you understand the question?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Yeah. It's kind of more, it's a question about speed.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together 1, 2, 3. Exhale, relax.
Here you go.
Great. Okay. So
Sorry.
we're done. So that's it for all of the questions in the interview. So that's the entire interview.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
basically, I will, any team member can go through this and look at it and then do the scoring. So it actually gives us a lot
Oh,
better ability to evaluate new recruits and existing workers because it will just allow us to have more people involved. Because typically only one or two people are actually available, or some people will be sleeping. So it just allows more people to review it. So that's good. So
yeah.
now that we're done, we can check in on the time. I mean, it took about an hour to do the full interview, which isn't too bad. You did your pop quickly. We can go over that too if needed, but basically, without the additional half hour of going through all the questions that we kind of got on some tangents, like, this whole thing was an hour and a half. So we have like 10 more minutes to go through the pay structure, and then basically we're done. But before we do that, I want to see if there's any additional questions that came up during the interview questions or anything else before we go on to the pay.
Not really. I'm okay.
No questions? So we answered
No.
all the questions before?
No.
Okay, great. And then this is also a time if you have any feedback on the written interview. This is the first time we've done the written interview. Usually we do it all verbally, but it gets in the way of doing work, right? Because if we're always having to do these long, drawn-out interview questions with workers during sessions, it's hard.
Yeah, long answers.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So this is we're gonna do this and just try it out and see how it goes. So if you have any feedback, this is the time to give it. Otherwise, let's go on to the next step, which is the pay proposal.
Oh,
So if there's no other questions, then we're ready to move on.
I'm ready.
Okay. So for the pay, this is just the final proposal that would be voted on for the temporary hire. Some people we don't hire temporarily, and they would just go into the budget proposal and the final budget decision making. But we're in the middle of the month, it's fine just to do a temporary hire proposal. So the easiest way to do this is to take the previous proposal, and we do have 3 people who've already voted yes on your proposal. But we can just copy and paste this here. All right, so this is your existing proposal. And then we can kind of update it. So most of it's all the same, but obviously this would be kind of the, this and your pop would be the last chance to make everything finalized. So did you link to the pop and take a look at it and start that process for the pop yet? Or did you just come here?
The stage 3?
Well, this is all part of stage 3. We're still in stage 3. But the first part of stage, the second part of stage 3 is the responsibility 2 is the public online personnel profile. So I don't know if you did that, but again, when you do your public online personnel profile and you do your temporary worker, right? So this would be the temporary proposal. Wait, sorry, proposal. So the proposal
I
is
was
to
doing it
temporarily hire Jesus as a worker in the work continuity group team during Cobalt Octane, right? So this would be very different from the recruitment proposal that we did before, because this proposal is the actual hiring proposal as opposed to before it was just a temporary recruitment proposal to do the recruitment. Does that make sense, the difference?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay, so basically here I'm on line 29. So the proposal would be to temporarily hire Jesus as a worker in the work continuity group team during Cobalt Octave. Right, so $7 an hour, and this would be the last chance to kind of change that.
Time to
You have
take a
252.
break. Please stop, write down whatever you were about to say, and take a break for 6 minutes.
So I mean, we only need a few more minutes, and we're basically pretty much done. So I would just suggest that we just skip the break and just finish up and then wrap up and check out. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
it's totally fine.
Yeah, cool. And we've already done the whole hour and a half. So basically, when you're putting together your proposal, there's really not much different from the actual temporary recruitment proposal. The only difference is obviously you're going to be updating the amount of time, and we want to.
Uh-huh.
So I
Yeah.
would say you did 1 hour before the recruitment process. So this would be 1 hour. We usually call it like pre recruitment, right? And then we just did an hour and a half um, of interview. So I'm not sure if you did. Maybe you did 2 hours because maybe you got a little bit before you did some preparation beforehand, right? So this would
No, it's
be
okay. 1.5.
yeah 1.5 2 hours of this would be the stage 3 recruitment process, right? For interview, etc. All right. So um, also typically this is all pending legal process, right? So we usually put in here that this decision is pending legal terms, agreements, process, and finalization of the partner status, right? So basically, you become a partner, you be actually joining the organization and all that as a member and partner. So this all takes place before you start working, right? And we'll go, and
Uh,
that's the next process that you're required to go through all the legal terms, understand the policies that affect pay and all the things to make sure it's very clear everything you're getting
when will I
involved
do
with.
that?
Sorry, say again.
When will I do that? After the process of
That would happen after you're
the temporary.
approved. Yeah, as soon as we approve this proposal as the team in the organization, then
Yeah.
you would immediately be done with stage 3 and you would go to stage 4. And so stage 4, I have the list of all the stages here. So stage 0 is like finding the post and getting interest at all. Stage 1 is like asking questions,
Okay.
reviewing information, all that. Stage 2 is getting your temporary recruitment proposal or the intake form approved, right? Then stage 3 is doing your interview and your pop and your ranking. So that's where you're now. Is we're just finishing up your interview. We'd still need to make sure you have your pop. So if you need help with that, I can help you. But then you're gonna go on to
Oh yeah,
stage.
I was doing it before the interview.
Yeah. So then you're gonna go on to stage 4 and stage 5. So stage 4 is where we are. We're actually going into stage 4. We get the proposal, and then we need to get approved. So during stage 4, you basically just wait. But for people who don't want to
Oh,
wait, you can actively engage with the team and make sure everybody's voting and verify that the voting's happening, or even push it to happen at the main session or whatever needs to happen to get the temporary hire proposal approved. Okay? So
via
that
the mail team.
the team it would be like on Discord. So I can also
The Discord.
yeah, I can send you the
Will
the
you
Discord
send me the link?
link here. I'll just put that in the notes under the. I always put it here, line 44. Okay. So this is
Okay.
the SFC co-op Discord, right? So this is the co-op Discord that has all the teams in it. And we also have a Discord for just work continuity group, but we just don't use it because we use email and publicly searchable communications instead.
Okay.
So from here, I think. Oh, and there's also one other. This is needs to be verified or reviewed. You don't actually have to get approval, but you need to be reviewed by the HR board, right? And then you're also required, required to get approved in the budget for the next budget round or cycle. So that may be in 2 weeks. Like basically the full moon just happened, so we have 2 more weeks before the end of the month. So every month we do everything based on the lunar cycle, so it's the moon month. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So the new moon is the beginning of every single month. All right. So if everything looks correct in this proposal, then I think that is
Yeah, I
completed.
think everything's fine.
Oh, I think we should also add in here, just to make sure it's very, very clear, 8, 9, that you're required to do public 100% publicly searchable communications
Oh, yeah.
and client work income for full pay. And then the last thing I'll mention is just that in the calculations you're required to do, we'll cover this in the legal process, but you're required to do both training and setup as well as efficient work. So in the first month, a lot of people just watch and they don't actually do any work. They just watch other people do work.
Time to start.
Okay.
Please get focused on the session.
So it's just good to have an expectation that in your first month that your pay might be significantly lower, like half of what you would want, because you're just not doing any actual output. Right?
Okay, because I'm just watching.
Because if you're
learning.
just watching, if you're just watching, the maximum amount of your pay would be half of your pay, right?
Oh.
But if other workers work that up, then it could be higher. But right now we're dysfunctional, so basically this is it, right? We are the workers. So if the workers that exist aren't doing the work, no one should be expecting to get a lot of pay. But you'll still get something, and we track all the value, and you'll have your ownership. So in the context specifically of how to get maximum pay, we're going to do a training on that, and we'll go through the calculations. Actually, all the calculations are already in the packet. So when you got the packet is all included with the details. If you want, I can show you where that is, but
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. So if I come in here and I search for the packet, so this would be the recruitment packet for 9 Degree West. I think this should be it. This is it. Okay, so this would be an overview of top personnel HR policies, and this is the work continuity group team 1.5 hours per day, full pay positions and 100% calculations. So this goes over the 5 calculations that are required to get your full pay, right? And basically, just to give you the quick version of it, you need to choose the correct client assignment, right? You can't get paid to just do whatever the hell you want. You have to actually know what you're working on, and you actually need to make sure that you're assigned to work on it. For example, 1.5 hours per week. Some things are only 1.5 hours per month. So if you spend 20 hours on something that's only assigned by the client to work on for 1.5 hours, then you shouldn't expect to get full pay. You need to make sure you're working on multiple client work. So that's number 2, is you actually have to do 3 hours of client work per week for a 6-hour calculation.
And
so
how do I choose the work I have to do?
You'll be assigned. I mean, we have lists of all the work. We'll go through that. Like every single assignment is listed. I'll show you what it, like people always ask us like, oh, what is the work to do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And so we took the time to list every single detail. So we literally have 196 assigned priorities for the whole year. This is every single possible priority that we could ever have. Okay? So most of these we just don't even work on.
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And we will simplify these over time. But basically of these 196, I think there's like 72 of them that are client work. And even those we break up into just 5. So there's just the overall vortex or the entire network support. We have the taxes. We've got the bills. Right? We've got the sponsorship support that I told you about. We have the asset and the POS support, which is all our finances and equity and asset support. We have the executive support, which is basically supporting myself as the executive. And then we have the overall umbrella business support, which is like the client outreach and sales, the invoicing, and other client coordination work. And then there's a little bit of FQN legal support for our old organization that fell apart to kind of wrap things up there. So that's it. So, it's not very complicated. There's basically 5 or 6 priorities, but we break it down to specific details, and eventually these will all link directly to your responsibility training, so that you just go to it, you click on it, you know exactly what you're being trained to do. Okay? So
Okay.
it takes
I
time to
will
get
have
things.
access to all of those documents after the approval.
That will only be after you get hired and complete your legal terms and agreements process. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, because we want to keep things simple. But you said you wanted to know about all the work, and the
Yeah.
answer is yes. We have everything organized, every single detail laid out. In fact, you could almost say that we're
Yeah.
too organized and too detail orientated. Whenever you think something might be too complicated, just remember that most of the time I spend 90% of my time trying to make things as simple as possible, and usually I make them too simple. And so people get complicated because they
Okay.
don't realize I'm asking you to literally click on something, right? And they're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to do this since I don't know." And like, no, actually, you're just supposed to click on it. That's it. And they just don't understand how simple it is, right? So a lot of times,
Yeah.
in trying to simplify things, you get into the complexity of it, where there's just so many things because they're simplified to just really simple, straightforward tasks. So you don't want to get too held up on that. Anyways, this proposal is correct. So it'll have to be reviewed by the HR board. You're required to do like the publicly searchable communications client work. Oh, that's what I was going over. So there's 3 hours of client communication. So these are the 5 calculations, right? So the first is correct client assignment. The second is the 3 hours of client work, and this is for a 9 hour work week. 9 hour work week. So that would be two 1.5 hours per week client work income assignments to make 3 hours. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
so then you go to number 3 is that you have to do your internal operations.
Now inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, relax.
So when you do your client work, we charge the client like 7.5x plus. So every 1 hour of client work is equivalent to like 6 hours of other work. Because if you only worked on client work, nothing else, we couldn't run a business. We couldn't run an organization, right? So the second or the third component is 3 hours of internal operations per week, which would be 1.5. Well, actually, let's just say that you need to complete all the internal operations requirements. So this basically is budget, payroll, recruitment, documentations, coordination. So basically, we're running the organization. Because if we don't do the payroll, you don't get paid. We have to actually run the payroll and get agreement on the payroll to get paid. If we don't do that, there's no pay.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So then the
Yeah.
fourth
Totally.
the fourth step is publicly searchable communications. Publicly searchable communications. So you need 100% of all communications are publicly searchable. So if you only have 50% of your communications searchable and the rest is on Discord, then you would only get half of your pay. All right, does that make sense?
Oh, okay, got it.
So it's very important to copy and paste. It takes 5 minutes.
It's true important.
Or we just don't communicate on Discord and only. I mean, it's so convenient to communicate on Discord because it's just perfect. It's just not publicly searchable.
Yeah.
All right. So, lastly, we need to do an invoice, right? So the last
what?
part of an invoice, right? So to get paid, we need to send an invoice to the client and do accounts receivable. So we need money to pay everybody. So if we don't get the money from the client, we don't get paid. So these are very simple concepts in terms of running a business, but some people have no idea how to run a business. We're all owners and we're all running a business, and we're all responsible for the business being run effectively. So you can't just be like, I don't care about invoicing. I don't care about the client. I don't care about doing the client work. I'm just going to spend some time and I want to get all the money, and who cares about the business running successfully? I just want the money. That's never going to be successful for everybody. You have to actually support the team and support the cooperative as a whole so that we can actually pay our bills and function and do the client work income. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Cool. Awesome. So anyways, it's all detailed in the packet that you already received along with all the other
Time
most
to
important
pause. Please stop.
policies.
Close your
Okay.
eyes. Count.
So-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So I think at this point we're done. Like this proposal is ready to go to the team and then a session and it'll get voted on. And then once it's finalized and voted, you just need to basically either do one of two things. You're going to wait for the budget approval, or you're going to actively request, hey, can you please vote on this? Please vote on this. Like, tally. You can tally the votes. Like after everyone votes on it, someone has to tally the votes and verify the votes and get them certified. So if you want to participate in that, you can, but you're not required to at all. You can just wait for the team to approve it. Typically, the latest that this would happen would be Thursday, Friday, are the main sessions. So that's Thursday. So on Thursday is the latest that we would hear back by. But as far as you're concerned, we're done with this part of it. And this took you less than 2 hours, right? And so if you think about the overall time tracking here, we calculated up to 6 hours for the recruitment and legal terms process, right? And so far we spent two hours, like a little less than 2 hours. So that means that we have 4 hours left. After we approve this proposal, you'll go right into the legal process terms, and that is a new component of what we're doing. I can
That will be via Discord, right?
No, this will be, I mean, you can always communicate on Discord with the team or on the email group, right? So I'll send you all those links, and we're gonna send you the link to the recruitment portal. So let's see if I can recruitment portal here. Recruitment portal. I don't see it. Anyways, let's. I'm updating the recruitment portal so it's not confusing, because a lot of the links are old and wrong on the recruitment portal because we haven't updated it for SFC yet, and we have the new model that we're updating. So for now, just stick with the processes. So in the stage, like I just showed you, we have stage 3 recruitment interview profile process. So I'll create a stage 4 budget process, but really you don't have to do anything for stage 4. You can just wait, and it just depends on how long you want to wait. But I think overall that could go very quickly. My expectation was that it could be done with as early as tomorrow. So I'll keep you in the loop on that and let you know if there's any issues there. And then, but realistically, you're looking at Tuesday you're taking off, so then Wednesday would be the next day that you get getting into the legal process. Okay?
Yeah.
Also, the legal process doesn't have to happen during Cobalt once we get it set up.
Time to stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right, quick stretch. All right. So there's 6 parts of the legal process. No, there's 8 parts. So there's the setup and the wrap up. So if you take the 8 parts, you minus the setup and the wrap up, you get 6 parts. So there are 6 parts, but then we have the setup and the wrap up.
Yeah.
So the first part is we go over our missions. So we want to present our missions. We want to make sure you have alignment with the missions. If there's something that we are trying to do that you don't like, then this is probably not the right organization for you, or we need to change the mission or have some sort of mission that you can work on. So that's a very important component. The second thing is to agree to the terms. So the terms of involvement are very detailed because of the past legal issues that we've had. And this is partly why we're changing our model, and we're trying to improve, and you're the first person we're doing the fixed agreement on Upwork with, so we're trying to change all these things to make it clear, because some people would be like, oh, I just have the hourly rate, no, I already should be getting paid hourly, and they already think that they're hired, and they're not, right? It's like, no, we actually haven't finished the process. You're not even starting work yet, right? You're just being invited to the recruitment process internally within the organization, and if you don't get hired, you will be paid, in this case, up to the $42. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
So if you choose to work with us and we hire you, at that point you wouldn't get the $42, and instead you would get up to the like the pay rate says, you would get the $252, right? So I think it would be
for the month.
Up to $252 for the month.
Oh, Okay.
But well, that's the proposal that you have given, right? I mean, technically
Yeah, yeah.
speaking, it can go up to $294 per month if you do the 7 days per week. But the expectation is 6 days per week, so you wouldn't expect to get 294. You would expect to get 252 if you're doing all the work, and that's for one octant for
Yeah.
1.5 hours per day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. I get it.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And but the key thing here is that if you choose, right, if you choose to do to join the team, then you don't get the $42, the up to $42, and instead you'll be required to do the.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
You'll be required to do the 100% publicly searchable communications and the client work income for client expectations. Right? So that's very important. That's part of the terms in agreeing to join the team, that you get up to the $42 if you don't join the team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, I get it.
Because sometimes we have a little confusion there. And I did actually make a proposal that we would just pay people both, but everybody was against that. We're like, no, if you join the team, you have to do the client work if you want to get paid, because people were against paying people just for the recruitment. So then you have the bio. So after you do your terms, you're going to submit a bio for your profile, and this goes on the website as part of the social value group, which is our client front of the co-op. And then you have your statement of freelance worker, that you're basically your statement that proves that you're a freelance worker. And we're also going to want like a link to like either your LinkedIn, or you can just use your Upwork profile. There's some tax forms that you fill out. None of these should take very long. And then we're gonna do one quick training on the basics of understanding how the co-op model works. So when you go into the co-op, you kind of know what's going on. And then the last thing is to update your Upwork contracts. Because right now it says $42 a month, and we would update it to the $252 a month. And we would actually pay that difference and actually put all that money in escrow. Okay, so that is the changes that would be happening, and that's the legal process. And then once you finish the legal process, and this shouldn't take very long. I mean, this could all happen in a couple hours. Like the missions, I mean, this should take 5 minutes. The terms if you read all the terms, maybe it would take 30 minutes to read every single detail. But you could also just sign it in 5 minutes if you wanted to. So I would say 5 minutes to 30 minutes. Some people might want to take longer on it. The bio, I don't know, 15 to 30 minutes to write a quick 2 sentences, right? Give us a picture. Your statement, this might take another 15 to 30 minutes. Tax forms, 15 to 30 minutes. This might take 30 minutes to do the training and get the basics of the co-op. It's just going to be a form. It'll be pretty quick. Updating contracts and agreements, I mean, this shouldn't take long at all. 5 to 10 minutes. Right? So, I mean, overall, this shouldn't take more than maybe 1.5 to 3 hours, right? So it all is within
That's
the
after
6
stage
hours.
4, right?
Stage 4 is literally just waiting for the budget approval.
Time for breath.
So
Please stop and get ready. Now
Right,
inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So in terms of the stage 4, I'll create an updated stage 4 in the perspective of the worker, because right now we have a stage 4 only for the internal team. But basically, you don't have to do anything. And we could get it all approved in a couple hours, or it might take a day. It's really just up to the team. But the things that you would do if you actually did them, and we'll put this in the next steps, would be to, we want to make sure the budget, so I'm in the wrap up on the notes in the next steps. So we want to make sure that the budget or the temporary proposal is approved, right? Temporary proposal is approved. And so you might send a message on Upwork, no, not Upwork, on Discord, requesting an update on the status, right? You could review who has voted. We can ask other owners to vote, and then we can also do the tally for the vote, and then there's also the certification of the vote. Okay, so those are all the steps that would need to happen. You know,
So right now I just do the pop.
you should do the pop if you haven't done your pop. Yes. So pop is very,
Yeah,
very
I will do
important.
it.
So I'll make that's a requirement is to do the pop. So I would also put on here that you know, required, because typically you would have already done the pop by this point, but we would put 8 here as like, you know, required to complete the pop, right? Because that would also be essential for getting agreement. So in our model, we are not necessarily against moving forward in the legal process, but we don't want to waste people's time. So if people are not going to be approved, we wouldn't necessarily want them to start the legal process. So overall, we're taking it slow because we don't really. This is the first time we're doing the legal process. It's a new component of the whole model. So, but it's a very, very important because
Okay.
the thing that seems to be people don't follow policies, right? And if the policy is that you are required to approve the terms before you join the team, or not before you join the team. If you're required to do the terms before you're working, right? But then you don't complete the terms, and then you're already working, you're already in our sessions. It's very hard to like kick people out, and like it just gets awkward, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to separate the work from the process of recruitment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So by separating the recruitment process from the work, it makes a really clear line like, hey, right now you're not in a work session, you're not actively working, you are doing the recruitment. We just finished stage 3. We're on stage 4. We're waiting for the approval. And then you'll start your stage 5. You'll do all of the terms and the legal paperwork. Then after you agree to everything and you become a partner, then you start working, right? So it separates the work and makes sure that everything's verified before you start working, which is just much more legally sound, because before you bring people in, you start working, you haven't gotten agreement, you don't have clarity on everything, and then they're already working, and then there's issues, it just erupts and it gets very problematic, right? So we want to make sure that all the issues are addressed and dealt with before people start working as best as possible. And so that means that if you don't agree to some of the terms, if you don't agree to some of the policies or the processes that we are going to move forward with, or anything in the packet, then you should tell us and we should change it before you start working instead of afterwards. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And hopefully for us, that'll make everything much more smooth, much more professional, organized, so that we don't just have all of these issues within the team that make no work move forward, right? Because like when there's all these issues in the team and the issues haven't been addressed beforehand, and we're dealing with all the recruitment stuff within the actual work sessions, there's no work happening. And that's not fair to the workers either, because then they're not going to be able to get paid, because instead of focusing on their work to get paid, they're focusing on helping Jesus, whom, you know, you're brand new. We might be 5 other recruits. We don't know who's going to stick around. We don't. Some people might stay for a couple days. Some people might stay for a couple weeks. Some people might only be there for a month or less. You know, it's just like, why take away from the team's ability to do work just because somebody is interested in working with us? It doesn't make sense, right? So we're trying to separate it out and really support the workers who do want to work to complete their work so they can get their full pay. Yeah. So I think I'm pretty excited about the new model. I think it really is going to help both the new recruits and help the existing workers focus on the work. And I think it's going to be a win-win on all sides. So I'm excited about it. I think it's very exciting. Any other last question before we just finish up this wrap up? So, cool.
Not really.
So I would say we did 1.5.
Well, the email team.
Yeah.
The email team, I will be communicating with you via email, but how will I get in the team?
Please stop, write down whatever you were about to say, and take a break for 6 minutes.
So were you able to get into the Discord? Did you get the link for the Discord?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, so you can get into the Discord. That is the best place to communicate with the team.
Oh, so I just ask in the Discord?
Yes, exactly. So you just communicate with the team 24
Okay.
hours a day. People are in there basically communicating. I usually respond 15 hours a day, and then Lucy, Mamoon, some of the HR board members might respond other times. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so the Discord is the best place to talk to the co-op, right? And then we have the email group. So I want to get the email group set up properly. I can quickly check to see. Let's see. So this would be work continuity group, policies, decisions, notes, topics, team. We need a recruitment for work con. I think we might have an SFC recruit. Let's see. SFC recruit. Multi-team topics, general members recruit. Here we go. All right. So this is it. This is the email group for recruitment. All right. So let me add this to the notes here. I'll put this on line 29. No, 30. Put it on line 30 of the wrap-up tab. And this is our recruitment email Google group, which is publicly searchable communications. No one's even used it yet because Discord just is way better. So if you want to communicate with me or you want to just copy and paste stuff to the publicly searchable communications, you can do that with this email group. Once you're approved in the team, you'll join the actual team email group where me and Miguel are, okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
and Miguel also communicates on WhatsApp. You can communicate however you want to in our under our policies. You can communicate in any location, but the worst place is Upwork because you can't communicate with the team. You can only communicate with me. And then from there, you have all of these different options that are not publicly searchable. And then the best is publicly searchable because if you communicate on a publicly searchable platform, you don't have to copy and paste it later to get paid. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. So
Yeah.
the last thing, so we added up the hours here. It looks like we have 2 hours total. We spent an hour and a half on the interview, and then we did a little setup and wrap up and view up for about a half an hour to get organized at the beginning and the end. And then just so you know, anything that's blue is what we call communications. Anything that's green is called internal operations, and anything that's pink is client work.
Oh.
Right? So we make everything's color coded to keep everything organized. Okay? So if you see those colors, you can get used to the colors. Today we only focused on communications. We did not do any internal operations, but you could say that I did some, interview coordination. So you could say, okay, Jesus did 2 hours on that, but Jay, I spent an hour and a half coordinating the interview, which was part of recruitment, as opposed to you actually did the interview. So technically, it's a little bit different, if that makes sense. So this would be more like recruitment for me, whereas you actually did communications, I did internal operations. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're doing recruitment, like every single item has a line number. So we try to keep that all organized and make sure everybody knows what's going on. So in the context of the recruitment, conducting an interview is line 74. Right? So recruitment interviews, line 74. So if in the future you're doing a interview, you would track your value on line 74. All right. Cool. I think that's it.
Oh, okay.
Last chance to ask any questions. Otherwise, we're ready for a hypo evaluation where you just put your name and you say how the session went. So 0 to 9 on how the session went overall. Okay. So any other last question? Otherwise,
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
No,
So,
I'm ready to finish.
okay. So yeah. So just do your hyper evaluation on like line 37, and this is just in writing. You don't have to talk or anything. Does that make sense?
How so? Again?
So it's called a hyper evaluation. It's like similar to our hyper check-in.
Oh,
And so on the wrap up tab, line 37 or so, you can just put your name and then you put a number from 0 to 9 and how this session went for you.
well. Let me get this.
Is that, do you see it?
So where is it?
So do you see the wrap up tab for our notes?
I don't actually see it.
The wrap up tab?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the last tab.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where we track all the hours for the session.
Here?
And then we put all our next steps for what needs to be done to move forward. And then at the bottom, we do the hyper evaluation. So the hyper evaluation is just like a quick number between 0 and 9 for how the session went for
And
you.
the break. Time to start. Please
Oh.
get focused on the session.
There.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's it. So yeah, we'll check in on Discord, on Upwork, and again, it's the same time every day, so you could check in to see about showing up tomorrow. But most likely, you would show up on Wednesday. But if you really want to come tomorrow,
Okay.
it's not a big deal, but it's going to be a little bit chaotic because we have other interviews, other stuff going on, and you would need to be doing your legal process, which you don't really have organized. So it'd be best to just focus on Wednesday to give us time to get as organized as possible and take it a little slow, okay?
Yeah, total.
Awesome.
Wednesday is.
Perfect. All right, great. I'll talk to you later. Have a great night.
Okay,
All right.
same.
Ciao.